On November the 4th, during a conference call, Vladimir Putin said that more than 300,000 people have been called up as part of partial mobilization, namely 318,000 people, of which 49,000 were already on the front line. Responsibility for equipping the troops Putin has shifted to the regional authorities. They were given the task of providing the Russian soldiers with everything necessary, from uniforms to first aid kits. But the soldiers admit they were left to fight without anything.
We are somewhere in the fields of Ukraine. The Russian authorities just threw us out like some dogs, right into the fields. We've got no shovels, nothing else with us, and only our personal uniforms that humanitarian aid provided with us. We are living right in the field. They bring us some food twice a day.
More than 2,000 mobilized men from Kurgan recorded an appeal in which they say they went to fight voluntarily, but there were no 195,000 Russian rubles or $3,200 promised by Putin. A one-time payment to those who signed the contract and went to the front line have not been paid.
Administration, where is your promised lifting money? Where are the suspensions of loans? Where are some benefits for our families and something that you promised us? There is nothing, absolutely nothing. We have been sitting here for the third week already. We are taking money from our families, although we should send it to them. What purpose are we sitting here for? It is not clear what we are waiting for without any financial assistance.
Over 100 mobilized men from Chuvashia staged a riot in November at a training center in Ulyanovsk. The reason was both the condition of maintenance and the lack of promised payments. To pacify the dissatisfied, the Russian authorities drove the Special Purpose Mobile Unit there and the National Guard of Russia.
All for one and one for all.
Even before the announcement of mobilization, 50 regions of Russia, according to the Important Stories website, spent almost 5 billion Russian rubles, almost $82 million, to compensate the families of the victims and support volunteers. By November of this year, this spending reached 9.7 billion rubles, $159 million. If we add to them the cost of mobilization, it turns out, according to the available data, that only in 50 regions of Russia the local authorities will spend at least 22.6 billion rubles, $360 million on the war with Ukraine. They hope for compensation from the federal budget, but Moscow does not help. And the mobilized men complain that the local authorities are cutting salaries and benefits for their relatives in order to send this money to the front line.
I'll say like it is. The administration collects money, I know it. Our wives work in the kindergartens, in schools, and the authorities voluntarily compulsory collect money from them. We don't need that kind of money. That is, we don't want to leave our families without money, so that they can chip in for us.
The amount of compensation, which comes in addition to Putin's promised one-time assistance to the Russian military, differs in regions. For example, in the Vladimir region, mobilized people will receive from 40,000 rubles, about $638 a month during the collection period. In Moscow, they will be paid extra 50,000 rubles, $820 a month, while in St. Petersburg, they are promised 100,000 rubles, $1,640. But in the subsidized regions, and there are the majority of them in Russia, they cannot help financially those who are mobilized, since the regional budgets did not include expenditure items for these. And there is no extra money in the budgets.
That is, even in peacetime, they couldn't provide a real social normal level. Now they rely on support for already completely military units. Subsidized regions simply cannot provide these mobilization tasks.
According to the political scientist, in the future, spending on the mobilized men will continue to increase. Therefore, the Russian government will cut spending on such items as culture, education and sports. It will also be difficult for them to replenish their budgets on their own. After all, due to partial mobilization, there is a reduction in the labor force. More than 300,000 Russian men simply do not work now. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Natalia Bilokudrya, UATV News.